YouTube, man, look, man, shout out to Hardwood, vote for the video, but look, how did the Eastern Conference become this bad, bro? Look! Like, comment, subscribe, your boy. Hey, y'all know how I'm coming, man.
This was the Eastern Conference in 2012, but this is the East today.
Oh. Hold on, bro. LeBron, Wade, Paul, Rondo. Bro, 3 of them was on the same team, gang.
Conference in 2012, 6. But this is the East
crazy.
Today.
That's crazy.
Okay, we got to talk about the Eastern Conference.
Why is the East always terrible?
The Eastern Conference
we know
sucks,
why.
And everybody knows it.
Pretty much my entire lifetime, the East has always been shitty.
I sincerely believe that this upcoming East might be the worst conference I've ever witnessed in my lifetime.
3 teams from the same. We never see this. The last time this has happened is 2008.
After dominating the league for over 50 years, the East has now fallen far behind.
Tatum hurt, Halliburton hurt.
All
they got
West.
is Giannis, man.
So how did the East completely collapse?
I've been a part of the Eastern Conference my whole career. There's been years where we weren't as good. There's been dominant conferences throughout time. In the 90s, you had Chicago who dominated the league. You know.
That's a fact.
The year is 1998.
The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their 2nd three-peat.
And Michael Jordan was going into his 2nd retirement. The East had won over 60% of the championships.
Okay, they was cooking.
Since the inception.
They was cooking.
Even looking at the wins per conference, we can see that the East was clearly miles ahead of the West. Teams play 52 of their 82 games within their own conference, so head-to-head records become the purest test of which conference is stronger. After Jordan's retirement, in 1999, the East was still dominating the league, but a Western Conference team won the championship.
They started to come.
They must have gotten lucky since it was the lockout year. But in the very next season, the tables turned and the West was now having a higher winning percentage. This seemed like a sudden shift.
2000.
Except it didn't happen overnight. The seeds of this imminent downfall was planted many years ago. A mediocre Eastern Conference ball club called the Charlotte Hornets upgraded their front court by acquiring a promising big man from the Lakers. It looked like a solid roster move for them at the time, except this was a trade. And in exchange for...
Yo, Goofy! Hey, the Charlotte Hornets was like, we about to get bodied. Man, if y'all don't get y'all Goofy, stupid Goofy! Charlotte, I'm from North Carolina. I'm still mad at y'all about that dumbass shit. I wasn't even born yet.
This was a trade. And in exchange for Vlade Divac, the Hornets gave away a 17-year-old high school rookie.
Vlade Divac is...
Later, the NBA's biggest rising star left the East and headed to Hollywood to sign with the Lakers. Then, in the 1997 draft, the Celtics had the highest odds to land the first pick, but fortune favored the San Antonio Spurs, who picked a quiet kid from the Virgin Islands. In the 1998 draft,
they gave him all to the West,
Milwaukee Bucks selected a skinny German forward with the 9th pick, and like the other Eastern Conference teams, the Bucks promptly traded him away to the Dallas Mavericks.
For who?
Okay, and Dirk, you have a statement you want to make?
Bro, what is wrong with Milwaukee? Who they gave up Dirk for?
Pass me the ball.
Bro, I don't care if they ain't know he was gonna be good or not, bro. What the fuck is their problem?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
All these generational fumbles were relatively unknown in the late 90s.
Yes,
until
generational fumbles. I'm talking about when he said generational fumbles, generational.
The West began their domination.
The San Antonio Spurs have won their 1st NBA championship. The Lakers are champions again.
Back.
They wrap it up in the 4-game sweep by beating the Nets. The San Antonio Spurs are your world champions.
The gap between the conferences was widening, fueled by the very talent the East had generously surrendered. In 2004, the Detroit Pistons bullied the Lakers super team to win the championship. The first East champion in 5 years. But looking closer, the West still had the better winning percentage. In fact, the gap reached an all-time high. The Boston Celtics had made it to the playoffs with 36 wins. Their Western counterpart would be the 37-win Warriors. But the key difference here is that the Celtics were the 8th
That was nasty work.
seed heading into the playoffs.
That was nasty.
Meanwhile, the Warriors were only the 12th seed. If you dropped the Celtics into the West, they'd fall down to 13th. The West was winning 63% of games while the East was stuck at a measly 37.
Measly.
Despite the East having stars like LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Dwight Howard, it didn't do much to reduce the disparity. Even after the Celtics formed a super team, they only ended up with 1 championship. The West owned all the generational talent that the East foolishly gave away. The mistakes of the late 90s haunted them. The gap would keep widening until 2009. For the first time since 1999, the East briefly edged out the West in total wins, securing 51%. Surprisingly, the East had 2 teams win 60 games, while the West had only 1. But the Phoenix Suns finished 9th in the West with 46 wins. Yet that same record would have placed them 5th in the East, proving once again that the West was still the better conference. In 2011, the Indiana Pacers drafted Kawhi Leonard and instantly traded him away to the San Antonio.
What is wrong with these niggas with trading these players away, bro? Somebody need to be sucker punched or something.
Spurs.
What's wrong with these guys?
Kawhi would go on to win 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, a Finals MVP, and the championship in 2014.
Crazy.
Speaking of 2014, that season revealed just how broken the East was. The West had a 64% winning record, while the East crawled to 36%. The conference disparity reached one of its highest points, but that still doesn't tell us how vast the gap had become. To put it in perspective, the 3rd-seeded Raptors won 48 games in the East. Yet that same record wouldn't have even qualified for the playoffs in the West. It was a total bloodbath. In 2015, the East had only 3 players on All-NBA teams.
And Paul Gasol was an All-NBA? Oh, yeah, the East was nasty. Oh, yeah, the East was nasty.
But the West? They had 12 players.
Yeah, the West was cooking niggas. I'm talking about barbecue baked chicken niggas. Steph, Clay, James, Russell, KD, somewhere. Where KD at? But that's crazy.
The 9th-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder won 45 games, similar to the Washington Wizards, who won 46. But the Wizards were the 5th seed. Surprisingly, this weakness actually benefited the East. In a diluted conference, signing floor-raising players could land you a playoff spot, a strategy that would never work in the ultra-competitive West. By this point, the system felt fundamentally unfair to Western franchises. Executives from the West began actively campaigning to eliminate conference seeding.
And so what some of the Western executives are saying is, let's just get rid of the conferences and seed 1 through 16. Best 16 teams make the playoffs, have a balanced schedule, and forget about this. Forget about this imbalance, which frankly
I ain't gonna lie. I mean,
existed for decades. The West has dominated the East for decades.
But there was a catch. 23 of the league's 30 teams had to approve the change. Eastern Conference teams,
they're not going for it.
enjoying their easier road, weren't about to vote themselves out of an
what is y'all,
advantage.
stupid?
In 2017, players like Jimmy Butler, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony were all traded to the West, further diluting the Eastern Conference. The disparity very much existed. Then 2022 brought genuine hope as the East edged out the West in head-to-head
2022?
conference wins.
Ain't that a year?
The 9th seeded Hawks in 2022 would remain the 9th seed if you dropped them in the West.
Okay.
Even All-NBA selections started evening out between the two conferences. Balance looked possible for the first time in over 2
It's a tough-ass
decades.
video.
However, this wasn't a complete reversal. Golden State won the championship in 2022, and Denver took it in 2023. Both West teams. But in 2024 and 25, the West resumed its dominance. Some of this comes down to luck. Steph Curry, Kobe Bryant, and Tim Duncan all happened to land in the West as rookies, and they were involved in 14 of the West's recent 17 titles.
Bro, 14 out of 17 titles come from 3 people is crazy. Well, you got to put KD in this too, though. You got to put KD, because KD the reason Steph got 2 of those. You know what I'm saying? Then Iguodala, and then Shaq with Kobe, then David Robinson and shit like that.
But there's
But
a
that's
reason
crazy.
the West keeps winning. A tougher conference pushes teams to get better. Look at the Rockets and Bulls. Houston was a 17-win team in 2021, finishing last in the West, and the Bulls were a 31-win team, finishing as the 11th seed. But in the tougher West, Houston committed to a full rebuild and emerged as a 52-win playoff team by 2025. Meanwhile, the Bulls in the weaker East have remained stuck in mediocrity for almost forever. A major reason for the Bulls being so mediocre is their owner, Jerry Reinsdorf.
I have to live with this team be owned by one of the greediest, selfish, and incompetent people in sports.
Dang, is
Jerry,
that bad?
do we seem like we're happy there, Jerry? Does it feel like this fan base is a happy fan base?
Jerry Reinsdorf is pound for pound one of the worst owners in sports
Dang.
history. And he gets a pass routinely because guys like James Dolan.
You've got people booing the Knicks profusely and begging for James Dolan to sell the team.
I'm a Knicks fan until the day I die, but Dolan's got to sell.
Well, I would be hard-pressed to find one single Knicks fan that doesn't wish for their Christmas wish list that he would sell this team.
Sell today.
Sell the team! Anything I can sell the team? You want to not come to any more games? Why?
Nonetheless.
You can't.
He said you will not come to any more games? Fine. Sell the team.
Who, the owner of the team, who has been a laughingstock.
Dolan is a problem because Dolan is petulant. He's a child. He gets them in the news for the wrong reasons.
Else, ironically, sell the team.
In this season, it looks like the East might be the least competitive it has ever
Yeah, it's
been.
gonna be looking nasty.
Even opening night only featured Western teams. With injuries to Halliburton
Of course.
and Tatum, the 2 prominent Eastern contenders are taking a gap year. That leaves us with the Knicks and Cavs, 2 of the top 3 seeds
Come on,
in the
man.
East last
Who
year.
watching? Come on, man.
And
I ain't
also,
watching that shit, man.
maybe the Magic and the Hawks. That's 3 to 4 teams that might be contending for the conference
What
championship.
about Milwaukee?
Because the West
You already know.
is
Okay,
a
see,
whole different
yeah.
ballgame.
Yeah, coming. Yeah, the West is nasty. West always gonna be nasty though. Them players not going nowhere. They got AE.
The defending champions
Okay,
are
so you know what
hungry
it is.
for more.
We want more.
The
We
Nuggets
gonna go get more.
pushed the Thunder to 7 games last playoffs. Now they've upgraded their roster even further. the Rockets added Kevin Durant to a young, defensive team that desperately needed shooting. The Warriors added Jimmy Butler last season, and they went on an undeniable run. They also added more size and depth. Steph Curry finally has some help. Then there's the Lakers, Clippers, Timberwolves, and even the San Antonio Spurs.
And they coming this year
The
too.
Wild West totally lives up to its name. An absolute bloodbath. So here's the question everyone
tough out
keeps
there in the West,
asking.
boy, I ain't gonna lie.
Should the NBA scrap conference-based playoffs and switch to a top 16 format?
I don't know, bro, because it's like them East teams, bro. Should they do that? Let me know in the comments, should they do that, bro? I don't know, bro, because I kind of want to see, I don't know. Do y'all want to see them bad teams just lose to the first? Because sometimes them 8-seeded Eastern Conference teams, they beat them 1 seed sometimes, bro. And it be some good series, bro. Like, I'm going to keep it 100. If you take them 8-seeded East teams out, it's going to be some, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, bro. What y'all think, bro? I don't know right now, bro. I got to think about that, bro. But I would love to see a lot of more West teams in the playoffs than a lot of East teams. But what if the East teams get good, then I don't know. Let me know what y'all think, bro. But I'm seeing y'all next, man. No cap.